Hey, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be going over things that are holding you back from your full charismatic potential. So, I am going to preface this with a hard truth. Charisma is not something you will add to your life. Get that out of your head right now. You're not going to add it on top of everything else. It's what remains in your life after you repair the leaks and the flaws in you. So, just take that little mindset on board and we'll get started. Definition of charisma by Robert Greene, who I idolize when it comes to charisma, defines it as an energy or light within a person that is shown through their words, eyes, motions, and character. So if you think about the most charismatic people you've ever talked to, do they just fully contain it within themselves? Do they shroud in like this? Of course not. Never. You never see a charismatic person hunch in, fully hone on themselves. They go out wide, they invite people in. Body language is really important with charisma, but that's not the focus of today. You often see it, if there's a charismatic person near you, it radiates through them. Well and truly, through their eyes, you almost feel this confidence in yourself when you're talking to them. And that's what we're going to try and emulate through this little mini course. So the first major question, are you charismatic? If yes, probably click off this video, it's not really for you. But if no, we're going to get started with the real fun stuff. Have you fixed your character? So, at the little start, there's flaws in your character, there's flaws in you that are stopping you from being charismatic. Have we fixed these flaws? Probably not. So let's identify them. The first step to any addiction, any problem, is accepting and identifying that you have a problem. Just put your mental health first for a long time. And start working out, do a dopamine detox, meditating, journal, all that self-improvement stuff. I do preach it, but we're focusing on confidence here first. Now we're going to assume you're starting to resolve these problems. You've taken the steps, you've got a gym membership, you're focusing on your mental health with meditation and journaling every morning and every night. You're building more positive relationships with people you meet. And that's the first great step, so congratulations. But now we're seeing you've made strides in these areas. You're building a good physique, you're doing a dopamine detox and so on, and you're developing self-respect. You're developing a love for you. That's a beautiful thing, but truly, do not leave this little box until you are completely ready. If you still have the insecurity, the ego, the dependency, you're not ready to go out yet. Your focus shouldn't be, how can I be more charismatic? How can I be more confident? No. Your focus should be solely fixing your mental health, and then you can worry about it. When you develop your self-love, and you go through this little cycle a few times, and you're starting to feel better, ask yourself the question again. Have you fixed your character? Are you happy with you? Are you ready to be you in this world? If the answer is no, go again. Maybe different problem this time. Maybe in the pursuit of nofap, you've now fallen for lust for actual women, and you have to resolve that. So on and so forth, all these little things. But once you reach that little golden point where you are ready to focus on more than just your health, you can go on to the next step. But truly, if your ego is yapping in your ear, you'll hear it say something along the lines of, oh yeah, but we're past this point. Oh yeah, we'll just keep watching it anyway, just in case. That's ego. Take the steps to deal with this first, and then move on. This is a step-by-step guide. It's not a jump around here or there wherever you feel like it. So, with this, I'd assume you have fixed your character, and congrats to you too. Now we have another major step to further refine your confidence and speaking skills. So if you were born naturally charismatic, congrats to you. You may have had a beautiful talent of speaking, but you can always take that little talent further. And by this little quote we all know by who, You've heard it everywhere now. Hard work beats talent. Talent fails to work hard. Simple, intricate quote. Take it with you. It's amazing. And this applies to charisma really simply. If you have that beautiful talent of being able to talk to people, being able to invite their spirits into your own heart, that's amazing. But you can go so much further with it. Maybe you don't have that skill, maybe you didn't have that talent. You can still develop and hone it further than somebody who had that talent but simply didn't work on it. It's like if Michael Jordan was born with his amazing talent in basketball, but he only practiced like once a week maybe. Would he have made it as far as he did? Would he have made it to the NBA if he practiced just once a week? The talent part is great, but it's not everything. The talent is not everything. The hard work is what defines you. So, let's implement some of these skills, which is the hard work, to further foster your existent or non-existent talent. We need to look at pauses and active listening. I try my best to hone in and preach pauses because they are simply life-changing. Pauses are one of the best things you can do to be more charismatic, confident, and better in overall conversation. I'll put like a clip or something here, but conversations are 1,000 times better and 1,000 times more in depth when you pause and give value. So in a conversation, somebody asks you one little simple question. What's your favorite thing to do in your free time? 2 responses. Manual response will say something instantly. That's the first thought in your mind. Might be reading, might be walking, so on. And your deeper response, your real manual response, this one's automatic, this one's manual. That manual one is far more in-depth and far more valuable. You might say, just sit for a second and think, my favorite thing to do is this. Now the conversation's gone much deeper. Now charismatic people may not require a pause as long as us trying to learn it, but when you're honing in on the start, it's always better to go further than you need to than to not go far enough. Same with pauses. It's better to pause way longer than you need to than to pause for a fraction of the time you need it to. Now I'm going to brush over active listening. Another quintessential part of being charismatic. When those highly charismatic people are talking to you, do they blabble in your ear endlessly and never give you a chance to simply speak? Quite the contrary. Usually, they're the ones that never speak. They listen, they take in. As I said earlier, good old Robert Greene, he put this in a very spiritual way where a charismatic person almost opens their soul for the other person's spirit to enter. And they talk through with that spirit, they offer that chance. So that's why we're so alert, so interested and captivated by charismatic people. Because they don't speak words to our face. They speak emotions to our soul, to our spirit. That is what separates a charismatic man from a standard Joe Blow. Because they don't just speak into your face, they don't speak at you, they speak through, they speak into you. Very important aspect. So, I'm assuming you've done this now. Congrats, you're ahead of the vast majority of speakers, but you need to keep working on this. Sometimes here and there, my pauses will slow down, I'll stop active listening, gestures will stumble, my diction will begin to fumble. You just need to keep using it, keep reminding yourself of what you need to look like. So if this little fella here, you say, he's confident, he's calm, he's collected. And that ties into this little part here with his self-respect. If you saw a fellow like this, completely relaxed in sharp suit, calm, open body language, do you think he would be frantically moving around, looking at the floor, darting his eyes? Look at him. He's taking space. His presence is simply setting the room. And that's why we need to emulate people like this. And that concludes this quick little course of charisma, self-certainty, and so on. So here's the key takeaway I do want you to remember. You are not charismatic because people like you. That's not how it works. You are charismatic because you don't need them to like you. And it begins with a little internal light, and that shines outwards to others. So if we tie that back, Robert Greene said, charismatic people have this light that shows through their words, their eyes, and their emotions. That's this internal light. It begins within them and it shines out of them. And if we go back up to this little part, where we're talking about inviting the Spirit, charismatic people they aren't trying so hard to woo people. They're simply trying to have a deep conversation with them. They don't need them to like them. A charismatic person doesn't need somebody to fully accept, to love and cherish every second of their time. The charismatic person simply is just charismatic. They just do their own thing. They put themselves first and they prioritize themselves, which is quite the contrary of all this stuff here, of all the insecurity, of all the ego and dependency. This is starting to get a bit strange and a bit off the rails here, going on a side tangent. But simply, this is it. You are charismatic because you don't need them to like you. You're not desperate for it. You don't have a dependency for it. So yes, that's what I've got to say. I'll probably start making more in-depth courses eventually. But, if this helped you, let me know. If it didn't, I'll be better. I will make more stuff like this. You have my word. See you in the next one.